So this presentation actually I made in 2010 and 11. I'm not any scientist. I just studied forestry in Soviet time, but I didn't like it. And in Republic time, so 11 years ago, I studied nature tourism. And so I finished and I made just bachelor's degree, but it was pretty big work because I got 70 pages. So, but the presentation is not 70 pages, it's shorter. And I little bit like designed it, so it's not so official because lots of things changed. So I just translated it and then put some new slides. The name of this diploma work was Soomaa floods and their importance in tourism, because I represent today like private company and I worked already in this company and I'm one of owners. We have more partners than one. This flood is so important for us, but it was little bit like not developed so well, this kind of tourism. It was just, just not so organized. And so my idea was how to do it like better way. And this work was especially very practical. So income from this work was important to use straightly in the same year, in the next year. So my objectives or aims were those points what I researched in this year. I'm doing it still, let's say, so I can do the next degree. But then first thing, I just wanted to compare different floods. And my idea was to sell every flood, not to get more money, because big flood, like I showed those levels today, blue line on the house, whatever, it's very special and it's very easy to get people. But I wanted to research how it's to do in other places where it's not so big water, when water is not so big. So I just wanted to compare different levels. And everything was based, this research on some Estonian Weather Service statistical numbers and also lots of field work. So I took the canoe and went through forests and whatever. And so I compared also, my supervisor said, you need to do like science. So you need to compare things and compare numbers of visitors. It's important. So I just got numbers from this visitor center here. They have counted people all the time, more than 20 years. So this is what I have done. And next thing, what was my main idea, to do really something very practical. So this was a canoe road through the forest. I reached later to this because I thought it's very special thing, because before that we didn't do any trip through the forest. We just went to the meadow around the house or something. So it was something new, and I think this was the highlight of this income of this outcome of this work. And also I looked what happens after the water. You can see some photos of that. When flood is gone, what ruins and what left. And also one important thing of part of this work was very practical outcome, to put some signs. You saw those level signs, to put some photos somewhere. I mean, most of people not coming in flood time anyway, because it's short period. So how to prove that we have had water in spring when people coming in summer? So I wanted to make it somehow visible. No, put some signs and stuff. And about different floods, this is, I actually didn't design anything here. Just example of different floods. There is days and centimeters on the left. And people asking very often how long this flood lasts. And here I try to compare different floods. You see, there is an April 11, if you see, one line. But also there are some smaller levels, like go closer, maybe this August. But this is in Estonia, because I didn't say it. So you see, this is some autumn flood, or let's say summer flood. Now it's just for comparing. And actually, if you pay attention carefully, this big flood, what reaches to 500 centimeters or 5 meters, it lasts not really longer than short floods, if you look. But I actually looked yesterday in my those in the end slide was something wrong. It was written that bigger flood lasts longer, easier to get more money. It's not true, really. And especially now, if I came to nowadays when the COVID crisis, also the war crisis, whatever. So we had by last floods, even if they were small, we had much more people than in those crazy years. Because people they can travel. I mean, locals mostly we have in flood time. They can travel outside, so they coming here to the nature. So numbers are bigger than normally. So it's no matter actually what I want to say. No matter how big is the water, how long it lasts, you just need to sell it. And if you sell it well in social media time, it's actually easy. So let's say we are faking things. We haven't seen water here around the house 9 years, but we're selling some small water somewhere on the meadow. It works well. But yeah, this is such an analysis I did. This is maybe what I really like to show always. It's based also on the Estonian Weather Service, and this is now new. This is I just made because you see the last year is 2022, and first year 1925 when we started measure water here. This first water measuring gauge. Gauge was built in 1924, but after the flood. So first flood levels we got from 25. But why I like to pay, you need to pay attention on this. If you look, when happened the biggest floods in history? If you look, very big level was in 1931. Then here is something. And also here in between, nothing happened. But look what is at the end here. 9 years. 9 years it was. I need to be closer to computer. So 9 years it was lower. Look at the levels. 9 years it was lower than 3 meters. So in history it's really extra low, let's say. And this is really bad. If we didn't take strategy to sell small water, then we couldn't get any client because people expect to see this big level. Why it's so? It's simple reason. We didn't have 7 years, not enough snow at all. It was smaller snow than normal. The last 2 years, this year we had good snow, and last year. But for the flood, we need also the stable winter. Snow must stay from end of December till end of March. No, it's 3 months we have usually snow. When it not stays, when it melts before, then not big flood is coming, even if you have big snow. And other story that when comes really spring, but it's not so sharp, not so fast, also not comes the big flood. Because this year we had big amount of, Jana knows probably that she knows the statistics better. So this year we had huge amount of snow and rain, but we didn't see big level there because it melted partly. So in winter we had 5 floods this year. 5, not 1. What I want to pay attention in this more here, those levels what you see here, we have several floods. Also in autumn, in summer sometimes when it's like big rain 1 week, 2 days, whatever. So there are highest levels in Europe. And green color, it means biggest water level was in spring. Maybe it's difficult everything to explain here, but yellow, when biggest level was in autumn, you see those yellows, the yellow tips, and blue ones when it happened in the winter. So if you look its history back from 1925 to 1985 or something till the 80s, the biggest level was always in the spring. And I know there are more statistics, definitely. it was like 90% of cases, it was in April. So starting from 80s, 90s, it changed. So bigger level, not in spring. It's in winter. Those blue tips, meaning tops of this charts. It means it happened in January, February, wherever. So it changed, and now we need to deal with this. So now we in tourism we sell more ice, because when it happens in winter, then it will be frozen after some days, and you can use the ice. And this is even more special. Last 2 years we selling better the ice thing than Hanu thing. So we are pretty lucky for that we have winters and snow and ice. And now I don't know what happens, because 9 years we didn't have big level, but they just built this road, this asphalt here, and now we expect that test must come next year. So we need to come next spring. Yeah. We hope to see water again here on the road. The next is what is I really like again, because this is I like to make those charts. So here you can see last 13 years. So I took your numbers, but every hour comes number actually how big is the water level. Then I put this to the chart, and here you can see I actually in my work, this diploma work, I decided. My supervisor said it's okay that we start to say flood when it's over 150 centimeters over zero level. This water course is where you had the night very close. It means that when it's less than 150, it's maybe flooded, but we cannot use it for paddling. You cannot go out of the river because the level is too small. Let's say flood starts at 150 and then I paint it blue. So you can see where it happens more often. You see, summer months in the middle of year, it's almost never happens. It can be rainy, but mostly it's in autumn time, because evaporation is bad, not so many sun. It's raining, accumulation is bigger, and usually we have floods in autumn time too. And you see, in autumn it's not even smaller than in the spring. Just exceptions are those big levels, those 2010, 10, 11, and 13. Well, they are really big, but others are somewhere here. Oh, maybe I need to go back a little bit for last slide. I wanted to say, people asking what is the average level. So average is 320 centimeters and 51. It's after 9 last years. But before that, it was about 350 centimeters. By 9 years, we took the level down. So now we can say it's big, when it goes not very big. So you see it changes all the time. This is really vast example. So if I go back, I mean those top levels, it's once in a year. But there is an example what can happen. This is the worst year ever, I can call it. What happened here? It was in 1928, in the April, beginning of April. And if you look what happens next, it was most rainy summer what we have here in this 100 years. And you see, it almost was flooding all the time there. So it's not a dream. What I think people hate the flood. No. So that was crazy. Yeah. So it's a good example here. It can happen once, much more than once. It can happen. You see, there are like 5 or 7 floods, and which one is which? Is it the same, or they are all connected? So normally, statistically, when I make statistics, we have 3 floods in here. It's average. So that's just one. But people know that it must be here in one day or sometime. So people calling, and when it comes. So this is typical touristic question. But now when weather is so unpredictable, we say that you never know. It can be autumn, summer, whenever. And actually, it's pretty exciting to live here, because you don't know when it comes, when you can make business again. So It's interesting, let's say, all the time. And I have this feeling when, when it starts to rain, especially in spring when it's still snow, then I cannot sleep because I know that what happens next. Because when it rains a lot, then I think local farmer are afraid and cannot sleep. But I cannot sleep. I know that I can put boats to the water. About numbers, this is what I didn't like not very much. This my supervisor said that you need to compare numbers of visitors, but I haven't compared it later, not very much, because now economies and this situation not so stable in the world. So it means tourist number goes up and down, and it depends on whatever, like crisis and stuff. But on those years, it's easy to see. April, so last years, 10 and 11 was bigger water, so more visitors in this visitor center. Nothing really special, just child. I'm not thinking. Huh? In the next year? In the next years, we didn't have any more big floods after this. Visitor number was so and so. Let's say in those years it was easy to compare when I made diploma. Later it's nothing to compare because it's 1 month, April. But later it happened 1 year in autumn was the biggest. 1 year was in winter. So it's not very comparable, let's say. Like I said before, that especially now when we have crisis, then if you sell well, you can sell whatever. So it's not important that we have the highest level. We just put nice video, you take it low. You can film it in good angle, and that's enough. It's not so important. I think this is a tricky thing. So it's not basing, it's not depends on visitor number, not depends so much anymore on those levels. This is what I proved then, but it's not provable anymore. So this science is over because world is changed already. Yes, we have. Yeah, it's possible to look at them and analyze. It is. Just it not comes really such a truth out. Oh, there was a bigger level. Let's say that I'm a more like field worker and I made lots of work outside. I'm still like want to see what's really happening around. And this is more important. I like statistics, but this visitor number thing is very unstable now. What I discovered when I started to make this research and plan how to make the tours, there's a photo of park. You can see like we have open and wooded areas. Which one flooded? I mean, well, those yellow names, the places, and this dark blue, they're like meadows. And this light blue, it's a forest. So there was just at the same time was some research from the sky with lasers and the same year. And it came out that most of what actually 2010, it's not on the meadows, it's in the forest. This is what I discovered. And then I thought that we need to do then something. Water is not on the meadow, just you can go to the forest because most is in the forest. And so it became idea that we need to do something like new, something special. And on the right side is a photo of visitor center. It's exactly when you look out of the window, there is like a gate. It's pretty traditional that those farms had 2 gates. One is to the roadside, one is to the riverside. And here is also, you cannot see water today. There's nothing because it's small river. But when comes the flood, and big floods, then comes starting from here, from this gate. What I need to say maybe then, this is the area which one is the most known, but there are more those flood areas. But maybe this is not so important because it depends where it's easy to get. So it's more like all these logistical things. This is one thing is what's really raise the water, but how you can get there because people cannot. You see, this territory is big. It's 150 square kilometers water, so it's hard to get everywhere. So where it's more comfortable than we do in those places. This is the most special map. It's still it's designed from 2011. It's not very professional. here you see, like I said, we're coming back to the beginning. Like I started to talk that you spend the night at Riisa, it's a left up. Then we went to the walk to Karuskose. There was the farm with the suspension bridge. So, and now we are in the visitor center down here, Kõrtsi Terava. You see, like triangular. So it's all together just some maximum, let's say, no distance 4 to 4. It's about 15, 20 square kilometers. National park is 396, not 400. So most of tourism happening here. And when comes the flood, it's deeply flooded. The deepest water is here. And in those years, I planned those roads, and we used it in reality. We have used them when water level was enough big. So you see, this blue line is a big circle, and it follows road mostly. When we started to drive today from your accommodation, Riisa, to the Karuskose. So this is what we used several years by canoes. We paddled on the road. Then we came to the forest. It's like forest road. Then we reached here and went again to the big road, what we drove. Such a circle. So it's really like looks strange, but for people it was like easiest way because you don't know where to go. But if you see the road, it's understandable because where's the river you don't know at all. But more special, I wanted to go to forest, and this is you see this red and lilac color. This is about let's say 2-3 kilometers in forest. This was the most special part. This is what people started to make videos and to talk to everyone, and so because of that we still getting people and they every year asking, I want to go to this forest. So it's famous. Like now in some foreign brochures about tourism about Estonia, it's easy to find that Estonia has 5 seasons, and you can paddle in the forest. It's just here, but it's already spreading all information all over Estonia. But so we started because and I'm proud that it happened. I found this idea to go to the forest, and it's very special. Just one problem. There are some numbers that you see, 350 centimeters. So numbers are pretty big. So we haven't had this kind of water 9 years. Cannot use the road at all. This road was easy actually. I just took from my wife some linen sheet, made yellow, such as ribbons, and put in the forest. So it was marked. Those ribbons are still in forest, but we cannot go there. There's no water. So happily, you saw how big is the flood area. I mean, this flood area is pretty big, 150 square kilometers, and it's maximum. So I thought that okay, this is over. I mean, what I have done, this diploma, whatever, and wrote. So I started to find new one, and so now we have new places too and new roads in much more smaller level. Even in 100 some 50 centimeters, 1.5 meters, when it's sizing up, we already have some road somewhere. Just need to work, field work, because if you look like from the sky, it looks the water everywhere, but you don't know. You need really to find the way. And we have new roads, but this one is like history. I don't know if it comes such a water anymore or not, but this forest road is it is somewhere. So, and there are some photos. I remember when I made presentation, and I got like 2 A's. Like they said, amazing photos. So about forest. Here you can see this river is not yellow, but it's also from my own. So it was very cheap project, like I said, just marked and put ribbons, and then people follow this special thing. And on the left side, there is about forestry thing. There was actually agricultural such a field, Norway, and in the 80s they planted lots of spruce trees on those. Yeah, I mean on the lines. And national park haven't decided what to do because it needs to take care. They are on the line everywhere, needs to take care. And I found a solution what to do. So I marked some roads under those. It's very special, actually. Now they are 10 years later. They are pretty big already. They're also not small because they were planted in 1980. So it's nice to be in between. It's like a line. And you if you go under, it's like mystical such a. So it's a human planted such a forest, but also sells very well. I remember lots of people made photos by there, said, "Oh, it's very special. This part is very special. It's not natural forest, but you can use it like this." No, beautiful also on the photo. Consequences. So after 2010 and 11, there was a big problem with this that before that floods were smaller and national park have built lots of infrastructure things. And 2010-11 was so big levels that everything was damaged or swam away. So this is the same trail what we walk today. And this is the trail what I have built also in my life. I built some trails. I'm very such a, I was very upset and it wasn't very professional. Later we started to anchor things. And today, when we walk here, there's no planks anymore. If you remember, when we came out of the bus, then there were like such a gravel road, or how to call it. Because now came the decision that we cannot fix those plank trails all the time. It takes too much money because damage anyway happens, whatever you do. So now it's decided that those areas where flood comes, potentially, no wooden paths anymore. No, except some parts. And here we have some volunteers. They helping to put some platform back, whatever. So it was a big work. 2010, in spring, when water was gone, we needed to go and find something. Some tables were gone. Even one plank trail was gone completely, like 300 meters just swam away. And later, everything, I made research, so I have some bigger tables because I 2010, I made all research, what needs to be done. I mean, raise the water, what's the damage. And later, basing on this, the national park decided to anchor things, rebuild, and whatever. So it was also practical outcome. They found that you know what happened, so it's written here. So now when flood comes, we are ready for this. So everything is more like connected to the ground. But what is the sad story that it didn't have big levels anymore. So let's see when water comes, what happens. We don't know really what happens. That was my idea to put some like posts also, not to make it visual. And for compare, like on the road, we saw some, there are some of them. Oh, this was on the road. You see this 2010-11, actually same signs still on this post from 2010 and 11. They are still there. You saw no colors, and on the left side is the walking trail. Well, we walked. So you see, blue is 10 and orange is 11. So it means water was higher than handrail. And it was funny when we made trips, then people asked very often, looked under the water, is some like narrow plank. And people asked that, oh, your trails are so narrow, how you can walk on them? And I said, no, this is not the walking path, it's a handrail. But water is not clear here when it's flood. You cannot see meter down. So if you look carefully, there is a trail, but this is the handrail. This right down, it's here. This post is still same. It's outside. You cannot see the tree. And here is also I'm staying. The left is also outside here. You can have a look later. They are all anchored. Up there is upper one is metallic, and anchored to the ground very deeply. So they are still there. This was near this farm, what we saw in other side of river. So when comes the new water, can look, can put the new level, but it didn't happen anymore. So levels were lower. So it's all like history, but still it's possible to use the same posts. They were not very cheaply made. I put them in the ground really. They are still there. And now I'm coming to the next thing. Like I said before, that it happens in winter often. So snow melts. And when I made diploma, then I didn't know anything about this ice thing because we had always in those years big snow, and we didn't do anything in winter except snowshoeing. But now when it melts and it's frozen, so we found a new thing what to do, and we use those Finnish-made sporty such a kick sled, and this is the new such a most popular activity. And I before I thought that this water is very special. You can go everywhere in the forest and wherever. Now I am not thinking so. I'm thinking most special if it's frozen, and those ice areas are even more usable and bigger, because when you go to forest with the boat, then usually or sometimes it's not so deep. You can stop, and the boat is bigger. You cannot go in between trees. You need to prepare those roads and cut maybe some trees, which one in protected area is a little bit specific because you need to ask permission, whatever. So, but now when we have those more like floods in winter and we have ice, it's very special. We can go endlessly through the forests because you don't need water. You need just ice. On the ice, no need to be any water at all, no deep. So it's very big fun actually. This is the most popular activity what we do last years. Ice skating is popular, but our company don't have skates. It's more specific, takes more time. We specialize just for kick sledding. The simple solutions are better. The other company doing, but there is no any big rental. With, this kick sledding is maybe the most easiest thing what to do in nature. Most easiest. I mean, you don't need lots of energy, and it's good also not for the kids, but also for every age. You can go. Everyone can go. So it's simple. This kick sled is easy to buy, easy to manage, easy to take care. So it's the best kind of tourism. And it's also connected with this river thing, water again. And sometimes, happens that it's ice and then comes the snow. Then we just put skis under. So those kick sleds have special skis. So it's possible to put skis under, and then we just making the one road. And we can do it all the winter. Just exception when snow is coming too much, then but we haven't used any machines for cleaning ice or for cleaning this taking away snow. So we just using clients. So we just go by foot and with kick sled. And if you do it every day, sometimes if no clients, then I do some 10 circles. But this is what we do last years. And last year I made statistics. So last year our company, some 62.5% of income came in the winter. So it's a big change. But in summer we don't have foreign clients. We need to do something instead. So this ice and water, it saves us always. We go on meadow and we go in forest. It means that even if it's not enough strong ice, this is not the river, not the lake, not the sea. If you fall through, it's safe, pretty safe. So this is the first important thing. And Estonia is a Nordic country. We have winters. Not normally we have ice everywhere, bays, seas, let's say lakes, rivers. But what we try to sell that this is safer here because we do it on the land. and definitely we're testing it. Because it's anyway some water, and we're testing it, and when it's enough strong, we start to do. And usually in spring, one day we stop to do it. We cannot do it anymore. And it's very funny, but last years it happened several times that people can do combined trips. So they just take the kick sled and some ways the water, so you can just go out, sit in the canoe, and go again. So no, let's say I don't know where's Jana. Jana is here. Okay, so I haven't looked at you a long time. So she's new, and she has done a lot, and she says I'm faking because we haven't done really such a combined trips from boat to the canoe, but we have done in the same day at least. Some area is good twice, and some area is good for the canoe. So it's amazing. Can do such a combined thing.